Hi boys and girls, today we're going to listen to a story called Ruby Finds a Worry. This is the main character of the story. Her name is Ruby, and by listening to the title of the story, Ruby Finds a Worry, I have a feeling that Ruby is going to find something that makes her worry in the story. The author and illustrator of this book is Tom Percival, and this book is published by Scholastic. The author writes the words, the author writes the words. Hi-ho, did you know the author writes the words? The illustrator draws, the illustrator draws. Hi-ho, did you know the illustrator draws? Let's listen to Ruby Finds a Worry. This is the main character, Ruby. This story is going to be all about Ruby. Ruby finds a worry. Ruby loved being Ruby. She loved swinging up high, and she loved to explore wild, faraway places. Sometimes she even went all the way to the very bottom of the garden. Ruby was perfectly happy until one day she discovered a worry. It wasn't a very big worry. In fact, it was so small that at first Ruby hardly noticed it. But then the worry started to grow. Each day it got a little bit bigger. Take a look at this picture. Do you think Ruby is starting to notice her worry? Yeah, it's getting bigger. It just wouldn't leave her alone. It was there at breakfast, staring at her over her cereal box. And it was still there at night when she brushed her teeth. The funny thing was that no one else could see Ruby's worry, not even her teacher. So Ruby pretended that she couldn't see it either. So Ruby's pretending that she can't see her worry, but take a look at her face. Do you think she's still thinking about it? I think so. She tried to carry on as if everything was normal, but it just wasn't. The worry was always there, stopping her from doing things that she loved. Ruby wondered if the worry would ever go away. But what if it didn't? What if it stayed with her forever? Ruby didn't realize it, but she was doing the worst thing you can ever do with a worry. She was worrying about it. Now the worry was enormous. It could barely fit in the kitchen at dinner time, and it filled up half of the school bus. Ruby's worry is enormous. Do you think her worry is small? Or is it really big? It's really big. It's huge. And it took up whole rows at the movie theater. The worry became the only thing that Ruby could think about, and it seemed like she would never feel happy again. Then one day, something unexpected happened. Ruby noticed a little boy sitting alone at the park. He looked how she felt, sad. And then she noticed something else, something hovering next to him. Could it be a worry? What do you think? Do you think that little boy has a worry following him? It was. Ruby realized that she wasn't the only person with a worry after all. Other people had them too. She asked the boy what was on his mind, and as he told her, the strangest thing happened. His worry began to shrink. So this little boy started talking about what was worrying him, and that made his worry start to get smaller. Then Ruby did the best thing you can ever do if you have a worry. She talked about it. As the words tumbled out of Ruby's, her worry began to shrink until it was barely there at all. Soon, both of their worries were gone. Finally, Ruby felt like herself again. Of course, that wasn't the last time she ever had a worry. Everyone gets them from time to time. But now that she knew how to get rid of them, they never hung around for too long. The end. Ruby had always been perfectly happy until one day when she discovered her worry. That was a pretty big problem. She started thinking about her worry, and her worry grew and grew and grew until it was enormous. Have you ever worried about anything before? I know I have. How did Ruby get her worry to disappear? What did she do? She talked about it. So just like in the story, if you're ever worried about anything, I want you to find a grown-up and I want you to talk to them about it. Keeping our worries trapped inside of us only makes things worse, and it makes the worry grow bigger. But talking about our worries helps them go away. So next time you're feeling worried, I want you to think of the main character in this story, Ruby, and I want you to remember what she did. I want you to do the same thing.